Hey Chiefs fans, what a crazy week. Out of nowhere, we have roster changes, a veteran speaking out to question what's really going on behind the scenes, and even rumors about a major signing that could completely change the offense. And with guys like Mahomes, Kelce, and Andy Reid in the middle of all this, the tension is much higher than usual. The news is surprising everyone, and the first piece of news is already setting the fans on fire. The Chiefs walked into 2025 expecting turbulence, but nobody imagined the plane would drop this hard. Andy Reid just wrapped up the roughest season of his Kansas City career, 6-11, capped off by a brutal 6-game losing streak that knocked the team out of the playoffs for the first time since 2014. Add Patrick Mahomes tearing his ACL in December, and suddenly the entire 2026 season feels like it's already hanging by a thread. And if all that wasn't enough, the running game, a problem that kept getting ignored, finally came back to bite this team. Kansas City finished 25th in rushing, barely cracking 106 yards per game. Kareem Hunt did what he could with 601 yards and 8 touchdowns, and Isaiah Pacheco battled through another tough year with 462 yards. But now both guys are hitting free agency at the same time, which leaves the Chiefs staring at a wide open hole in the backfield with no guaranteed answers. People inside the building have floated Notre Dame star Jeremiah Love as a possible pick at number 9 in the draft, but even that's a gamble. No one knows if he'll still be on the board, and the team has bigger problems than just finding a rookie to plug in. And then Tuesday happened. Kansas City officially lost another running back, one they actually developed. Carson Steele, the fullback running back hybrid with the long blonde hair and the old school downhill style, is gone. Steele had a strong college career at Ball State and UCLA, and even though he went undrafted in 2024, the Chiefs took a chance on him, and he earned a legitimate role as a rookie. He played all 17 games, became the starting fullback, picked up 183 rushing yards, and showed he could fit anywhere in a physical offense. But 2025 didn't work out the same way. He didn't play a single snap, spending most of the year parked on the practice squad. And this week, when practice squad contracts expired, Kansas City never got the chance to bring him back because the Philadelphia Eagles swooped in and signed him to a futures deal. Tom Pelissero broke the news on X, and Chiefs fans instantly felt the sting. The team put time into developing a young piece, and just like that, he's gone without taking a real step forward. To make things even more chaotic, Steele wasn't the only name on the list. Clyde Edwards-Helaire also had his practice squad deal expire, yet another sign that the Chiefs' running back room is about to be rebuilt from scratch. And honestly, that kind of uncertainty fits the vibe of this entire offseason. Matt Nagy's future is up in the air. The offensive staff could look completely different in a few weeks. And even Travis Kelce, the heartbeat of this locker room for more than a decade, is openly considering retirement. That's not smoke, that's real. So what does all this mean? It means the Chiefs are entering an off-season where nothing is guaranteed. Not the coaching staff, not the backfield, not even the stability we all got used to during the Mahomes era. Reid is staring at one of the biggest reset buttons he's ever had to push. And Tuesday's news just made that reset even louder. And if you think the backfield situation is messy, hold on. The next update hits right at the coaching staff, and it's causing way more noise than anyone expected. The coaching carousel around the NFL is spinning like crazy right now, and somehow the Chiefs ended up right in the center of the storm, even without firing anybody. That's how wild this week has been. Every day, a new team jumps in looking for an offensive coordinator, and the pressure on Andy Reid to make a decision about Matt Nagy just keeps building. And Tuesday was a big one. The Chargers fired Greg Roman, Jim Harbaugh's longtime offensive security blanket. Harbaugh trusted Roman with every NFL offense he ever built, and suddenly he just cut him loose after Justin Herbert dropped to 0-3 in the playoffs. That alone would have shaken things up. But then Pittsburgh joined the chaos. Mike Tomlin stepped down, leaving the Steelers without a head coach and instantly putting them in the market for an offensive coordinator too. So now you've got 12 NFL teams, yes, 12, looking for someone to run their offense. On top of that, 9 of those teams are also hunting for new head coaches. It's like musical chairs, except instead of 10 players and 9 chairs, it's 12 players and maybe 2 chairs. And here's the kicker, these teams aren't waiting around. Green Bay might fire Matt LaFleur after that wildcard loss, and if that happens, the whole thing gets even uglier. Philadelphia is expected to move on from Kevin Patullo. Washington already promoted David Blau. Everyone else is scrambling, interviewing, scheduling, and stacking up lists of candidates, except Kansas City. Matt Nagy is stuck in limbo, and honestly, it's hurting him. He interviewed virtually with 4 teams last week: Arizona, Las Vegas, Baltimore, and Tennessee. That Tennessee interview was supposed to be his strongest chance, but then the Titans went out and scheduled meetings with 17 other candidates. 17! At that point, Nagy went from one of the finalists to one of the names in the pile. Arizona has 8 candidates, Vegas has 7, Baltimore has 12. Every day more coordinators hit the market and Nagy's window gets tighter. His head coach dreams for this cycle are hanging by a thread. But here's where things get tricky for the Chiefs. Andy Reid doesn't actually have to wait. He can bring Nagy back tomorrow. He can move on tomorrow. He can change direction tomorrow. The only thing stopping him is he just hasn't decided yet. Meanwhile, other contenders are deciding. Dan Campbell is already scheduling top candidates. Todd Bowles is doing it. Jim Harbaugh is doing it. And while those teams move forward, everyone else, including some of the hottest names on the market, is trying to figure out whether Kansas City will even have an opening at offensive coordinator. And it's not just fans guessing. Patrick Mahomes wants clarity. Nagy wants clarity. Even Travis Kelce, who's literally deciding if he's going to retire, would like to know who's calling plays if he comes back. Next week is when things get real. Monday marks the first day teams can hold in-person interviews for head coach jobs. Nagy could be on a plane to any of those 4 teams that interviewed him virtually, or he could be back in Kansas City by then, or Reid could decide to let him walk entirely. And all of this is happening before we even know whether the Packers might blow everything up and open another high-profile job. It's the biggest, messiest game of musical chairs the league has seen in years. And the Chiefs are sitting right in the middle of the dance floor. And while everyone's battling for coaches and trying to rebuild their staff, one headline dropped that nobody expected, and it puts Andy Reid in a category all by himself, in the middle of all the chaos around the league. Firings, openings, interviews, retirements. Something historic just happened, and it didn't come from a big move or a blockbuster trade. It came from silence, and one coach stepping away. Mike Tomlin officially stepped down in Pittsburgh, ending a run that started all the way back in 2007. And with that, Andy Reid suddenly became the longest tenured active head coach in the entire NFL. Just like that, no announcement, no ceremony, no build-up. One moment Tomlin was still there, and the next, Reid stood alone at the top. Entering year 14 with the Chiefs in 2026, Reid now owns a title he hasn't held since his final season with the Eagles back in 2012, the last time he posted a losing record before this past year. It's funny how football works sometimes. Things feel like they're collapsing in Kansas City, and at the same time, Reid hits a milestone almost no one else in the league can touch. And he's not planning on going anywhere. Just last month, he said he fully expects to return, unless Clark Hunt pulls off something shocking, which nobody believes is happening. Reid joked about it, but you could tell he meant it. He wants to keep coaching. Now the NFL's list of longest tenured coaches looks completely different. Sean McDermott, a former Reid assistant, is now tied for second with Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, who are all heading into year 10 with their teams. Then you've got Matt LaFleur and Zach Taylor at the next tier, guys who come from the McVay tree. And yes, Reid is now also the oldest active head coach in the NFL. Pete Carroll was the only one above him, but after the Raiders let him go, Reid, turning 68 in March, takes over that spot too. John Harbaugh, another old Reid assistant, will probably become the second oldest once he takes a new job. Reid's contract, massive. He signed a $100 million extension in 2024 that averages $20 million a year, making him reportedly the highest paid coach in football. His deal runs through 2029, but like Reid said, nothing in this league is ever truly set in stone. And here's the crazy part. Teams have traded for head coaches before. The Raiders literally traded John Gruden to Tampa Bay back in 2002. The Steelers even hinted that Tomlin could only be hired by another team through compensation. So technically, it's not impossible the Chiefs could be approached someday about Reid. Not likely, but not impossible. For now though, the headline is simple. Through the wins, losses, chaos, rebuilding, retirements, and drama, Andy Reid outlasted everybody. With all this going on, it feels like the Chiefs are standing at a real crossroads. Do you still trust Reid to lead the turnaround, or is it time for a new spark in Kansas City? Drop your take and hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.